room. So, as usual, feet together, feet shoulder width, shift side to side so you feel where your center of gravity is at. About 3 fingers below your navel, midway from the front and the back of your body. Soften the hips and knees. Arms come up, help you expand your lungs. And push down. So everything starts at the top. Fingers up, chin up. Arms down, chin down. And if you know the sequence all the way through, just start doing it on your own. Inhale as we come up. Exhale as we come down. So we're making somewhat of a lollipop shape here with the heart. And then the stick at the bottom. Inhale. Exhale. So when my chin tilts up, it's much easier to arch the lower back. When you drop your chin, it's much easier to round the whole spine. Like it's a wave of movement up and down the spine. Inhale. Exhale. Relax your eyelids. Try to let your vision soften. The way to do that is by relaxing your eyelids. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through the nose if possible. Inhale. Tongue up to the roof of your mouth. Exhale. Tongue to the bottom of the mouth. So you see me do these little gestures where I twist my neck to the side a little bit more than extra, or I shift my weight, or I do this little shoulder thing. Those are all just different ways of releasing tension. Kind of unique to each of us. Inhale. Exhale. There's actually a word for that. It's called pandiculation. It's like when a cat gets up, or I let my pooch out of its little home. When I leave for a couple hours, it gets out and it does a little cat stretch. Even though it's a dog, it does the yoga, cat stretch. So it's not unique to dogs or cats. All animals do it. And we do our own stuff with it. That's why we stretch and yawn when we get up in the morning and just kind of move our arms around. Inhale. So as I'm doing this, I'm pushing down. I'm also trying to pull back on the abdomen muscles. And then I relax the same area. Squish the stomach. So by doing that, squishing and relaxing the stomach, you're really moving the diaphragm. A muscular wall between the lungs and the organs. The more you move your diaphragm, the deeper your breaths are. Again, we start at the top, we're working our way down. If we're pushing down, our hips and knees are bent. We shift our weight towards the heels on the way down. We shift our weight towards the ball of the foot on the way up. More specifically, the big toe, the little toe, the ball of the foot. So there's an article in the Wall Street Journal a couple days ago talking about toe spacers and how, people, primarily women, they use toe spacers when they get their nails done. But athletes are starting to be aware of this, that if each toe is a bit separate, because, we kind of squish them into shoes and they start forming over the years to be kind of out of alignment, you lose some balance and stability. So if each of the toes can separate, like with the toe spacers, each toe gets a little bit more sensitive to your balance. Pretty interesting. But your big toe is like a key factor in how you balance. The other toe is kind of to a lesser extent.
You can get flopped.
Yeah, it's the same concept. You have better dexterity. Well, yeah, think about it. If you're lifting up something with mittens, how much control do you have? When you get the finger gloves, you can pick stuff up. Same idea with your toes. So anyway, what we're trying to do with this is you got the big toe, little toe, and the ball of your foot, that's a triangle. And then there's another triangle if you go from the big toe to the little toe to your heel. So we keep going between those two, big triangle, little triangle. And that again helps with your stability. It also stimulates the meridians that connect from the toes all the way up the body. So let's do 2 more of these and then we'll move on. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. So I find it kind of interesting when you look at some of these exercises, just watch it. Oh, okay, that looks pretty easy. Not much going on, guy's moving his arms. But when you're in the class and you're following it, you're trying to do all this stuff, it's very much an internal exercise. The physical aspect of it is actually pretty small when you start looking at all the alignments and the shifting that we're trying to do. So the next one is the idea that we're shrugging, and then we reach for the ground. And then the hips and knees bend slightly, like you're scooping up something. Your hands come up to about your face. You can interlock them, and then reach up. Feel a stretch, release. Your shoulders drop with your elbows, your hips and knees are bent again, and then you gather in. So the idea of here gathering, you're gathering your breath. We hover just above the skin. Here we lock our knees and elbows again. Shrug, reach. So if your fingers are fine with this, it's not uncomfortable, try to interlace your fingers. If your fingers don't like that, then overlap your palms. Try to reach as much as you can directly above your head. Back off. You might hear all kinds of snap, crackle, and popping kind of sounds in your ears when you do this. I do. It's all fine as long as there's no real pain or discomfort. So here I'm kind of straight and rigid. Then I'm relaxed as I reach. I come back up. I'm again kind of straight. My arms and legs, so they're stretched. Then I back off. So I'm trying to be very aware of what parts of my body feel good and comfortable when I do this. And if something else is a little bit out of whack, oh, my neck hurts a little bit, I gotta give it a little extra attention. So we stretch, we reach. It's like we're gathering in our breath. Try to fill the lungs. And then release the breath. So by doing it that way, there's a little bit of a pause before and after each part of the breath. Inhale. I wait until I'm getting farther down to do the exhale. I wait a moment or two before I inhale again. And then I start, inhale. There's a pause. And then I exhale. And then there's a pause in the breath again. Inhale. Exhale. So you can do that or not, it's up to you, but the slower you go, the more breath or the more pause length you have in between, it's going to dramatically slow it down. So you're not just worried about, I got to hold my breath. You're kind of holding it, but it's more of a neutral. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just not making the effort, to either be inhaling or exhaling. It's a little different way to think of it. So again, we inhale as we come in. We exhale as we finish. So let's do one more and then we'll move on. Shrug, reach, gather in. Release. Gather in. Release. All right, so the next one, I go a little further apart. How do we get there? You can just flop your leg out like that, or you can do this toes heel thing. Oh, that's fine. I can go a little wider, toes heel. So it's a little coordination exercise and gives you a little bit more, control, basically. I'm not just going to just step. I have a method to get there. Toes, heels, toes, heels. Oh, I'm good here. If we're beyond our shoulder width, your toes should start to go out just a little bit, so that the natural direction that your knee bends goes with your toes. So then the next one that we're going to do from here is cross. So much letters or shapes, geometry, if you will. We come down to here. Reach the arms forward, there's a W. So we did an X, we did an O, and there's a W. We always relax and sink at the end. So again, we scoop up. I try to exaggerate this idea of twisting. And then the very last part, I untwist. So now we're kind of like a T with our legs apart. Again, we sink. When we're sunk, we're low to the ground, a bit more than just standing up. So now I come up to here. When I get to my shoulders, then I turn over. Straighten the hands or the arms with the legs. and then we sink. To go down, we push towards the ground. We're going to do circles to the sides. Triangle in front, more geometry. Push down to the ground. So now we got to continue. From horse stance, we pivot. Now we're in a bow stance with our toes on the line. Either pivot your toes or on your heels. Again, here's that drilling and twisting. Untwist at the end. Sink your hips. Sink your shoulders. Lean forward so there's a straight line from your skull to your back foot. Scrub your sides. Push the shoulders down, but pull the fingers up and chin up. And then we go back to the center, horse stance, bow stance on the other side. So if we do this and I keep my shoulders over my waist, this is a really good stretch for your hamstring here and the buttocks, and then the quads on your right side. So, if we just stand like this, it doesn't do so much. But when you sink, now you can start to feel those muscles engage a bit more. So here's the twist, inhale, reach, stretch out, exhale as you sink. Twist, lean forward. My back is still arched, I'm just leaning, chin up, fingers up. Then we go back to horse stance. So we do a double brush knee. So again, as we're down here, it kind of rolls into the next thing. If we're down here, then we're going to scoop up. We cross, more letters. At the very last part, my hands do two different gestures. My right hand's a fist by my temple. My left hand pulls back at the wrist, and the shoulders relax as the hips sink. So again, we're down here, so I'm going to scoop up. I'm scooping up something from off the ground. The hands separate. This is splitting, by the way, from our Tai Chi concepts. Stretch. Sink. Next one. So we're going to, again, circle the arms. Come to the insides of your thighs with your fingers. Round your spine. As much as you can, like a ball. And then I arch, pushing with the arms, chin up, look up. And I come down with my spine to the right knee, back to the center, inhale, twist to the left knee, exhale. We come up and get our bearing. Okay, I'm looking straight. I bring my feet a little closer, back to where we're starting from the very beginning, shoulder width apart. Spin the big ball to the left. Squish it. Right hand does a brush knee to the side. My other hand presses to the ceiling. And you can do different things here. You can look straight. It's like, oh, that feels good. Nothing wrong with my neck or my shoulder. You can look up 45 degrees, or you can try to tilt your head all the way up to look straight up. So now we got to do the other side. Squish. Brush knee with the left, press with the right. Look straight, look up a bit, or all the way up. This hand now comes to the base of my skull. This hand, left hand above my waist, let the shoulders relax. So keeping your hips forward, twist your whole spine. You're only gonna be able to go so far. When you can't go any further, try and turn your chin. When your chin can't go any further, then your eyes. Oh wow, I can see all the way where Sherry's at. And then we go back. So your range of motion, whatever it is, we're just trying to improve it. So I got here, spine, neck, eyes. Now I can see the door on the way out. So whatever you can do. So we got one more exercise that we'll do. We come up, we stretch back behind, we find our lower back. So I'm really exaggerating, arching my back and chin up. And then the chin drops, now the spine goes the other way. So it's like dominoes from the base of your skull all the way down to your lower back. You reach, my back is all rounded, hands come in front, find your ankles, your shins, knees, thighs. Pin your shoulders back one more time, lock your knees out. So this, I'm tracing, which this helps stretch. On the way back up, it's like, well, it's not really doing much. You're aware of your body. So it's like I can feel the warmth in my hands. When I do it, I'm not just touching to come up, I can feel it. And it's almost like, if you have intention of what you're doing, then there's some more benefit comes from it, all right? So it's not just, touch, whatever. Think about it. Think if your hands are warm, if you can feel that. So here we go, back to the start. I'm in my little bit wide horse stance. My arms are somewhat straight, my legs are somewhat straight. Arms and knees bend. So we're very deliberate what we're doing here. Last part. Stretch forward with the shoulders. Relax the shoulders, drop the shoulders. All right, I'm down here. So I'm going to scoop up. So same concept. Last part, the hands turn. Knees and elbows lock. Knees and elbows bend. Okay, we're down here again. So let's scoop up. I wait until I get to my face. And then I lock my knees and elbows up. If you can't go above your head, go in front. If you can go all the way up, wonderful. On the way down, I'll circle my arms all the way around to the sides, back and front. It's like I'm pushing a ball into the water at the pool, all the way down. Pivot towards the right. My back is over my waist, or my shoulders over my waist. Inhale. Sink your hips, sink your shoulders. Relax. Lean into it. Inhale. Chin up. Fingers up. Exhale. Left side. Toes. Waist. Arms and shoulders do their thing last. Stretch at the end. Sink. Twist. Inhale. Exhale. Back to the front. Feet are in the right spot. My waist is constantly kind of going up or down. Arms do their thing last. Feet, waist, arms. Pretty consistent throughout the whole thing. Scoop up. Split. It's like in Tai Chi. Hands do two different things. Relax your shoulders. The amount you turn your neck is, again, a variation of the stretch. If you can turn your chin all the way to your shoulder, wonderful. Scoop up. Your head can only go straight. Your neck is stiff. Do what you can. Okay. What's next from here? We do the circles again. It's like I'm pushing the ball down, but hands split. Round your spine. That's an exhale. Arch your spine. Twist across. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. We get our bearing. You look straight again, so you don't just stand up and okay, I'm a little lightheaded. You look first. Stand up slow. Spin the ball to the left, like we're reading, newspaper or a book. You go from left to right first on this. So that's the left side. Look up if you'd like. And then we do right side. So here my knees and elbows are somewhat bent, but then again at the end, knees and elbows lock and extend. And then back off. Here my knees and elbows are all bent. Gently twist like a spring. Spine, neck, eyes. Back to the front. Inhale. Exhale. Back to the front. Again, big circle. It's either circles or X's or W's, it seems. Inhale on the way up. Exhale as we start to fold from the chin all the way down to the lower back. So on the way up, too, we're trying to do the lower back, middle back, upper back, neck. So we got 33 vertebrae, a whole bunch of them are fused at the bottom. There's 24 of them that can move, and we don't. It's like, I want to move my whole spine. Hopefully with these exercises that, all the way down, all the way up, it does give you quite a bit of mobility. The thing though, a few of you might have, I'm just putting it out there, if you have high blood pressure or you're managing high blood pressure, if your head goes below your heart, sometimes that can cause issues, and especially like when you come back up, as I say, if you just pop up, you might be a little lightheaded because the way the body works, your blood's kind of stuck down here. It takes a while for it to get back up to the brain. So something to be aware of anytime you're doing that. So how you get around this if you don't do it here, you just, okay, I'm not going to do it. At home, you do it laying flat. You can do it like laying on the ground or in your bed. You can just do the slow sit-ups all the way to the toes, slow all the way down. The same way. I feel a little more in your stomach if you do it that way. So any questions on that whole set? That's 8 pieces of brocade in motion. If you ever want to Google it, look it up. Pretty interesting to see the other people doing their variations with it. And there's holding too. It's like you can hold each one of those. If you want to build up a little more strength, so, okay, I'm going to hold this for 30 seconds, or a minute, 5 minutes. see that. I wouldn't recommend just jumping into that. Start off a little bit easier. So. Oh, we're going to hold each position today for 5 minutes. That's the class. Oh, 8 times 5, that's 40 minutes. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Tai Chi fundamentals. We do this pretty much every class so that it gets everybody on the same page, and then you have no excuse when someone asks you, like, what do you do with Tai Chi? You get like, one thing you could probably show them, right? You got the 5 directions. You got up, down, spin the ball to the left. Again, like we're reading a book, you go from left to right, and then back to the center. This teaches us all our opposites. Aside from 5 directions of stability, if you have an up and forward, we'll have a down and back. If we're going to spin to the left, one hand up, one hand down, one near, one far. We have to spin to the right. And then if we have all those, we got to have a center where we come back to become stable. So it's kind of like a math equation, if you will. It's like you got to solve for the x. There's always going to be an opposite, whatever it is. So this is a poking motion, like a spear, so it's metal. Pulling is tension, so it's wood, like a wooden tree branch. Connecting the feet to the waist, to the arms and shoulders, to the hands here, that's water. Opposite of water would be fire. It's the same thing, just opposite direction. Earth, stabilizing, solid. All right, let's do one more time with very deep breaths. Inhale, all the way to the ball of the foot. Big toe, little toe, ball. Heel. Push with the right ball of the foot. Inhale, push with the left ball of the foot. Push with the right. Stabilize. All right, to turn, I buckle. This leg pivots. I shift back. If you look down again, your toes should be somewhat on that line. Cat stance is always kind of that line. Sometimes we'll call this empty stance too. Foot's empty. Nose and navel. So if I go from one line in the tile, I want to go to the other line. That gets me about shoulder width. These look like 16-inch tiles here. So then the hands ward off. They unwind and kind of do this like splashing motion and roll back to your left hip. Bottom hand is right, left hand on top. By the time we come to here, it's shoulder, elbow, press. Relax your shoulders. Everybody has a tendency to lift their shoulders. It's just the way it is. Pivot by shifting the weight to the left. There's the toes again on that line. Pick a line if you need to. And then we do split. Hands are splitting. We did a whole bunch of splitting with the 8 pieces of brocade a moment ago. So I started again. Nose and navel height. Ward off. Relax your shoulders. Roll back. Bump with your shoulder. Poke with your elbow. Press the palms against, or the wrists against each other as you press. Pull is back and down to your waist. Push is up towards the shoulders. Split has a pull and then a push. So same thing with the breathing. Pull the breath in. Push the breath out. Roll the breath in. Push the breath out. Pull it in. Push it out. Relax your shoulders on all these. Split. So oftentimes the shoulder relaxing comes like here. It's like sync. Hand over the foot, elbow over the knee, shoulders pretty much always over the waist. So then we have the same concepts, maybe a little different presentation. We got heaven, grounding is earth. This is a mountain with a canyon, the water at the bottom. Pull is wood, sometimes wind. Push is fire, sometimes metal. Split. Hand over the foot, elbow over the knee, shoulders over the waist. So let's do one more. Inhale. Exhale. Relax the shoulders. In. Out. Relax your shoulders. In. Out. Relax your shoulders. You get the idea. I keep saying it. Inhale. Exhale. So one more. In. Here's the pause. Breathe out. Here's the pause. In. Out. In. finish it up, I turn my toes, knees, and hips to the front. I splash, look up to the left, stretching the neck, and then chin down, stretching the neck. Same thing, in, out, and. So the mind-body connection. A lot of people talk about it, not as many people know how to do it. It's like, I'm gonna go run, and I'm gonna have the mind and body connection. You can. You definitely can do it. Weight training, running, swimming, knitting, yoga, cooking, listening to music. They're all different ways that you can connect your mind to your body. I have found the physical method to be the best. By trying to do all this stuff with where do my feet go, where do my waist go, where do I look, where do my hands go, it pretty much puts you in your mind, into your body. When I'm directing you or somebody else is teaching you, you're a bit split. You're maybe in the moment, but you're kind of in your body, plus you're in that person's body, because you're like watching, mimicking, trying to copy it. So when you do it on your own, that's when you're more into your deal, if you ever do it on your own. So take this out the door, and do it at the park or at home or whatever. Then you're a bit more in your mind, in your space, in the moment. So any questions on that? Because it seems like an overlooked concept. Like the time people do Tai Chi or Qigong, just like, oh, it's exercise. Way beyond exercise when you start getting into those layers. All right, so we did 5 directions, also called the 5 root powers, because it gives you stability. We did the 5 harmonies, also called the 5 branches, 8 harmonies, 8 branches. There's probably another 8, all different names for the same stuff. If we're all good on that, let's move into the Yang style 48. Start with our feet together like usual. Relax and sink, the feet and the waist. Here's a little half circle, shift. So my feet are in the right spot, my waist is in the right spot, the arms. Here it is, that same concept throughout the whole form. Feet, waist, arms. We do it again. Feet, waist, arms. You'll keep seeing it over and over again. Shift back. Here's a little bump with the shoulder, poke with the elbow, press with the wrist. These split. In Yang style, our palm stays facing in by the face here. Other hand does brush knee. Step with the foot. Sink. There's my bow stance, nice and stable. In block, once, twice, reach back. As this hand comes into my ear, this hand brush knee, and then I push the palm on the front. That whole thing is called brush knee, even though there's extra parts. Cat stance, nose and navel. Bow stance, shoulder, elbow, press. Relax your shoulders. Palm up. Do a little pivot and split. Here's our split right off the bat, early in the set. Feet come together. Cat stance. In block, strum the guitar. Balance. Set the toes down, set the heel down. Now here's our set of redundant in block, chop, followed by shoulder elbow press. In block, chop. So you always got to address your feet. They turn when we do the shoulder elbow press. When we do the chop, the in block and chop, our toes, knees, and hips are pretty straight. And then we again turn 45 degrees and then square with the wall. All right, so that's the 3 times. We do one more in block, one more chop for a total of 3 2/3. Look what I'm doing here. I turn the foot, knee, and hip. I scoop up, and then I do block. First one was a fist, second one's open, then I do a punch. And it should line up about level with your sternum, the base of your sternum. There's the xiphoid there. So then I do in block, nose and navel, ward off. Roll back, shoulder, elbow, press. Pull, push, turn to the front. So here's the cat stance to the side, which I also will call dot. I'm dotting the toes. Fists, make a cross. Draw back. Shift back and do an in block. Shift forward with your hips, do an in block. Make a circle with your arms, they split. Turn the wrists out. One's above your head, one's above your knee. So that's ride the tiger. So I'm gonna just kind of jump to the more difficult one today. We step over here. This hand comes to my side, this scoops. as I do this motion, this arm is going to help bring this leg all the way around. Now we got the Bhagwa stance. Arch your back for a moment, round your back, sink into it. Turn the foot, cat stance, strum the guitar, but this time it's a fist. So we call this exercise fist under elbow. We look where we're going, arms kind of raise the ceiling, push with the right, pull with the left. That's repulse monkey. We only got enough room to do it twice. From here, I do a little cat stance. Here's nose and navel again. Bow stance. Drag your foot. So it's like a cat stance with your leg dragging this time. Brush knee, push the palm. So there's supposed to be 4 of these. So look where we're going. We're just going to the sides, but we're going to do 2 more of them. And this time I'm going to go on the corner and reach. Then I go to that corner and reach. Then I kind of square up on the side here again with my shoulders, and it's another strum the guitar and balance. I'm going to back up a step or 2 here. So I'm holding a plate or a teacup, like I often say. My other arm scrubs across, so they cross. As I step into the bow stance, I do brush knee, and I punch, like on a 45-degree angle. Then this comes up. The simple way is just here, reach, the other hand pulls back. And it's like a bow stance. Not as simple as to do twisted, and you sink. So I get to the other side, again, I step forward. If you like, you do what I'm doing, try to balance for a moment like a statue. Set the foot down, there's bow stance or twisted stance. The twist comes from the hip. This is called spit poison. Snake spits poison. I step out. So if we run out of room, we might have to back up here. It's an in block, twist, circle. This arm circles. Shift your weight, try to swing your leg up. Catch the leg. So here's why I say we got to shift it a little bit. Splash water or spit poison again. Turn to your backside, ride the tiger. So we'll again do an end block, followed with a chop. Then I just turn again, so I'm a little bit more stable in that bow stance. Circle and flick, circle the arm, shift your weight, swing the leg. So we got a little more room on this side. I step through, splash or spit poison. Cover your backside with ride the tiger. Feet come together. Cat stance. Here's going to be another shoulder, elbow, wrist. Often those all go together. It's usually not just shoulder. If there's a shoulder, there's an elbow. If there's an elbow, there's a wrist. But this one's this way, fist. You hold it. Turn to the front. Here's the exercise we did earlier where you do brush knee, reach the ceiling, but this time they're fists. Little adjustments to your hands make a difference. So then this goes down. This is a bit of a snake creeps exercise. It's also a warrior stance in yoga. And then we come in. So if we were doing Yang 24, this would be here. It would be rooster standing on one leg here. 48, they make it more difficult. It's again above your head. And then try to balance. We do the other side. Found my center of gravity low and stable. Brush knee, press up, try to balance. Touch down once, twice. In block. Chop. Shoulder, elbow, press. Just like at the very beginning, teacup. You finally get to do a split on the right side. Turn to the front. So we just did the split. I moved to the front here. Shoulder, elbow, wrist, wave arms like clouds. Once to the right, once to the left. Shoulder, elbow, wrist. Shoulder, elbow, wrist. Part the horse's mane. So here's a whole big chunk of stuff that we do when we're practicing Yang 24. Our feet catch up. Brush knee as you do pat down. Everybody got it? So that's the first time through with the long narration. You know, I kind of explain where everything's supposed to go, so that the next time when we do it, and I'm not talking as much, you're like, oh, yeah, Remember, the shoulder's supposed to be down, the leg is supposed to be up. Oh, I gotta look on the sheet again. We're probably halfway-ish, a little bit over halfway, I think. Yeah. So it does get a little more dynamic. That turn thing, when we were here, you know, the simple turn is you just kind of do this, and then this, and then we're here. The more, you know, I know some of you are like very agile, you love doing this stuff. You actually go over here first, so your legs cross, and then there's that little spin. So it's a little more of a little bagua with the swirling, the tornado concept. Pretty cool. No questions? We're going to do it again. A little more focus on breathing, being relaxed, sinking the shoulders. Inhale. Exhale. When in doubt, put your feet where they should be most stable for what we're doing. Breathe out. And then you work your way up. The hands and arms are always less consequential. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. So remember how we just finished where we were at and I said, oh, you get to do this split? Here it is. It's the third exercise when we start it. We don't do it again on the right side until another 20 or 30 exercises. Inhale. Exhale. And if you want to put a little protect in there too, you can do a little tension where you push away but pull your wrists back. Inhale. Exhale. Right there too. Push your shoulder away but pull the wrist back. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. I don't know if that was 3 or not, but we're moving forward. In. Out. In. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. So where we're at right now, I'm going to move over just a little more central here. So I said again, we can step over here and then over to here. Inhale. Fist under elbow. Exhale. Repulse monkey. In. Out. In. Out. So we're going to do to the sides. So it's a brush knee with your leg dragging. And then we go to the corners, the front corners. And out, Deborah. We'll see it. We'll see you next time. Brush knee and press. This is followed by strum the guitar. And breathe out. Punch diagonally. And breathe out. Spit poison. And breathe out. Spit poison. And breathe out. This whole thing, slap kick. Ride the tiger. In black. Chop. And that whole thing again. Slap kick. Inhale. Exhale. Ride the tiger. Inhale. Exhale. So this would be another version of divide heaven and earth. Reaching for the heaven, touching down to the earth. Like I said, this is snake creeps. Inhale. Exhale. Rooster stands on one leg. Inhale. Exhale. In black. Chop. So here we go. This is the thing I just said from the very beginning. It's the third step on the other side now. Wave arms like clouds. Once, That's a set, twice. All right, so I'm going to move over to here because this next part does have a little requirement of room. So after we did the last wave arms like clouds, bow stance, part the horse's mane. We do one more, bow stance, part the horse's mane. Feet catch up, and then in the cat stance again, pat the high horse, so you twist across your body, and then we're back to here, where we do this whole thing. That's called heel kick, even though there's a whole bunch of other stuff in there. Scrub, double punch towards the ears, relax your shoulders. And then we do it, we'll just go this direction to the left here. Split, reach, pull back. Then there's an in block, come to your shoulder. The scrubs, now it's punched down. And we start it over again. So, like I was saying, that the opposites, it's like if there's a box for this one here, there's going to be a box to check off on the other one. So far we punched straight out, we punched 45 degrees, we punched up and down. Again, they just keep making it, whatever we do on that side, sooner or later it's going to be on the other side there.
That's the question. It isn't always right after.
No.
Sometimes it's split up.
Definitely.
Okay. But sometimes it is right after.
Sometimes it is. So.
That's what makes it interesting.
Yeah, that's like the balance that's not balanced. It's like it's not always perfect, just like asymmetrical. It's a balance, but it's not always equal, right? It's like 2 equal to 1 or whatever the case may be. So these people, they had a lot of time on their hands, they did. They weren't checking their phone. You know how many times the average is we check our phone? Depending upon who you talk and which source, could be up to 350 sometimes a day. Like teenagers in high school. You think they're distracted and why that's an issue right now? Should they ban or not? I don't know. That's politics and all that stuff. But still, 350 times a day. Somebody that doesn't check it as much, aside from just turning it off, a slow person would be like it 50 times a day. So, anyway, different conversation. So back to this. It's the asymmetrical balance. Sooner or later, we do get to the other side with most of the movements. So and that's how you keep the body in balance, by keeping it off balance, by doing something a little different here and there. So once the pattern starts to get where it's comfortable, then they got to change it. And then it goes to something again that's comfortable. So they were studying psychology very, very long time ago. I think they got it down. So unless you have questions, I keep going here. Let's try and get it down. Relax. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Here's our first split. Exhale. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. By the way, this shifting side to side from horse stance is very much the Chen style, which we'll do in another 2 months from now probably. In. So that's 3, in, out 2/3, in, out, relax your shoulders, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. What did we just do from there? It's going to be repulse monkey. Breathe out. So like I was saying, you know, we do these sides and then we do the corners. It's really supposed to be the 4 corners. So after we did the last repulse monkey from here, this first one really goes over here. And then we can turn. We'll do sloppy, but we'll get there. And then we go back to the front. And that's the 4 corners. So again, it kind of gives you a little more spatial awareness where you're turning. Inhale. You guys are, you know, so dedicated. I just throw all the extra stuff in here. Inhale. Exhale. Sink if you like. Rise up. Spit poison. And sink if you like. Step out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. So very often, the set throws in an extra in block and chop. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Turning to your backside again, spatial awareness. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. Dot. Step out. Again, little in block chop. In. Out. So that would be here and then split. Okay. Make a little room here. Wave arms like clouds. Inhale. Exhale. In. Out. Part the horse's mane. 2 times. Pat the high horse. So I'm just going to scoot back here. All of this, scooping, splitting, sinking, balancing, reaching, that whole thing is heel kick. Of course, all those movements just make sense to call it one thing, right? Double punch, turn to the backside, same thing. There's no double punch though. In block, in block. Come up to your shoulder, come down to your waist, punch towards the ground. Finish up, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, straight up, inhale, exhale. So we got time to do it one more time through. It takes about 10 minutes to do that whole thing if I slow down the breathing and don't talk so much. Some of you are breaking a sweat, some of your heart rate might increase. Again, you kind of go with what you're comfortable with as far as that. Any questions? I'll give you a chance, a little break, you know. All righty, let's try it one more time. A little slower. Inhale. Exhale. And even though I'm moving slower, that doesn't mean you can't do more breaths in there if you need to. Inhale. Exhale. In. In, out, in, out, in, backing up. In, out, in, out, in. In, out, in, out, in. So, first corner, out. So I just keep adjusting my feet so I get my toes and knees going the same way. Out, in, out, in, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. So I'm just going to try to start back here. In, out, 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 toes straight, toes turn out, then toes straight again, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. So again, just to have a little bit of room if you guys want to scoot back a little bit. From here, what did we just do? We got wave arms like clouds. Shoot. Did the split. Should be right side here, left side. Right side, left side, part the horse's mane. Part the horse's mane. Pat the high horse. Heel kick. Double punch. Heel kick. Punch down. Then we finish it up. In, out, in, out, in, and out.